What's up, guys? It's Jermain. Welcome back to another brand new episode of It's Not That Deep. Wow, you made it back. Either you really love it here or you just don't have any other podcast to watch. Either way, I'm so glad you're here. And I know the podcast is called It's Not That Deep. And that's fitting because I'm really jumping in the deep end with today's episode. One thing about me that you should know is that I really love to argue, to debate, to share opinions. I'm mature enough to argue responsibly on most days. But I think it's a great way to get to the bottom of things, to actually gain perspective. Maybe it's all the crime shows I grew up watching or something like that. But this week, I got some things that I'm tired of arguing and debating with my friends about. So instead of blowing up like the group chat again, I'm going to just bring them to share with you today. These are the heels that I'm planting flags on. I'm not dying on them because we don't die on heels, but we'll plant a flag there and call it ours. And the goal for this is to be an interactive episode, okay? Agree? Disagree? Want to fight me about it? Head over to my Instagram. I dropped a link for you to give feedback directly. I would love to hear what you think about these topics. But we're going to get into some random unsolicited opinions that I have that no one asked me for, no one asked me to talk about. I just chose to decide that I want to talk about them today. So here we go. So the first unsolicited opinion, and before y'all jump me on this, I am fully aware that I stand alone for a lot of this one specifically, but let's go ahead and ruin our relationship one paragraph at a time. You ever get like that long ass text that starts with "first of all," or "I just feel like," and you would like immediately feel your soul leave your body? Like, let's talk about that. Let's deep dive into arguing over a text message, because that is, in my opinion, the top tier way to ruin a relationship without even raising your voice. I know I stand alone for this, and look, I get it. I get a lot of pushback when I say I don't argue over text. People think I'm being difficult or trying to dodge accountability, but nah, that's not really it. I'm just trying to protect the relationship. You can't read tone through text. You can't hear delivery. You damn sure can't fully grasp the message through a screen like that. Text arguments really leave way too much up for interpretation. Me, I'm a visual learner. Words create visuals. So if you send me a long ass text message and you leave me to break that down and decipher that, like imagine like when you were reading books, like when you read a book and you don't know what the characters look like. As you're reading that book, you start to create these imaginary versions of what these characters look like, and they kind of carry you throughout the entire book. Like your mind creates that visual based off of the words that you're reading, right? Okay, so it's the same thing with a text message in my book. If you send me a text message and I'm just reading these words in this very long paragraph, I'm painting whatever picture, I'm creating that character, I'm creating that situation in my head as I'm reading it. I don't know what tone you're sending that text message in. I don't know what your intentions behind it was. I mean, you know people enough to trust that they wouldn't have any ill intentions towards you. But again, if you're debating something, if you're bringing something to my attention, if you want to express how you feel about a situation, I don't believe that the right way to do that is through a text message. And I swear I've been like this for years and I'm not changing. And if you're like anything like me, I'm gonna read that paragraph sometimes because nowadays I'm gonna say God bless, congratulations, and condolences, and just keep it pushing. But ultimately, I'm gonna read that paragraph, run it through my little emotional translator, and now I'm pissed. And then you come back like it wasn't that deep. Well, homie, it felt deep. It too late. I'm already over the edge. Like the worst is happening. And then on top of that, I mean, it's a trust thing, because that's a boundary, right? So I don't just throw out boundaries for fun. I explain them, especially to those people close to me. So when I've made it clear that I don't argue through text and you do it anyway, should that not tell me that you don't respect that boundary? And if you can't respect the boundary I set to protect our relationship, then how can I trust you? Am I being too deep with that? Is that taking it too extreme? Because in my opinion, it's not. Trust isn't casual for me. It's serious. It's fragile. And when it's damaged, it's damaging. So when I say, can we not do this through text? It's not an avoidance tactic. It's a safeguard. I'm trying to keep things clear, keep them safe, honest, across the board. Stop trying to reveal real issues over blue bubbles. Pick up the phone, link up. If it matters, it deserves a voice. You need to be able to hear that delivery, that sound, exactly what you are trying to convey, the message. Speak it up. Say it. So yeah, next time you feel urgent enough to write me a 5-paragraph essay through tears and typos, consider this. If you can't say it with your chest out loud, maybe it's not that important. Or maybe you just need a journal. So next time you feel compelled to dump a digital dissertation in my inbox at 2 a.m., just know I'm not reading all that. I'm blocking you in my head first, then maybe on the phone. If you can't respect my communication boundaries, then congrats. You just earned your degree in how to fumble a relationship in under 60 seconds. I don't know. What do y'all think? Am I asking too much by just asking for verbal communication? Because I mean, I've sent some messages in my lifetime. I've been there. I've been a keyboard warrior before, but very, very long time ago, and it happens very few and far between. I don't even like sending those type of emails in the workplace. I'd rather just like come talk to you about that too. I don't know. I'm just more of a verbal communicator. Like I like to verbally communicate because I want to be able to sense your tone. I want to know what your stance is, what your delivery is, just what your inflections are, what your meaning, what your message is behind it. I just really want to fully understand you. And I just feel like it's hard to fully understand someone when you're reading through a text message, especially about something that is a dispute or a disagreement or just something that needs further clarification. I think the easiest way and the quickest way and the most efficient way to get that further clarification is to do it on the phone or do it in person. But maybe that's something I need to work on, but I'm not. I'm really not. And another thing that I'm not working on is giving in or acknowledging those you could have came to me people. You could have came to me because no, they can't. But people let you get away with it. They do. You could have came to me people are the most annoying ones in the room. I mean, I had to, you got to say it. Like, let's talk. Come on. Because let's be honest. That phrase is not as noble as you think it is. It's really fake deep. It's performative. It's performative vulnerability. Like, you want a cookie for being in a safe space in theory, but if somebody actually did come to you, would you even know what to do with them? Would you even know how to handle that? Would you hear them or just wait for your turn to talk? Spoiler alert, saying you should have come to me or you could have came to me isn't accountability. It's not even compassion. It's convenient deflection. That phrase like low key blames the person who's already hurt. Like, well, you never said anything. Okay, but were you actually someone they could have come to? Are you actually someone I could have came to, or just someone who wants to look like they would have been? And yes, let me be fair. There does need to be accountability from both sides, because I'm not saying every silent person is automatically right, but I think as a culture, we spend so much time obsessing over the quiet one, the one who should have said something, that we never turn around and ask, why didn't they? Like I said earlier, I'm not scared of confrontation, like addressing things, but it's about insight for me. If I know you're emotionally immature, unhealed, passive, avoidant, and borderline self-absorbed, what? are we going to talk about? What are we going to talk about? You show up to every conversation thinking you're right about everything. Like, hello? Why would I waste my energy trying to shine a light for a blind person to see? You're not a safe space. You're just a loud one. So before you say you could have came to me, ask yourself, would you have actually listened or just waited for your turn to talk? Because sometimes people don't come to you not because they're fake or petty or holding grudges, but because they already ran the math and knew the conversation wouldn't be worth the energy. And if it stings a little, sit with that. And then maybe you'll become a better person. Maybe you'll become actually someone who people feel comfortable coming to talk to. Check on your strong friend. Now, this is a hot take of mine that comes with a lot of layers that I'm not even sure I can pull back yet fully. But being the strong friend is a scam. Not because you signed up for it, but because no one knows what to do with you when it comes time. You know, everyone loves to say, check on your strong friends. Like it's palatable. It's a good tweet. The picture quotes get hella engagement. You see them in sad posts, inspirational posts. You see t-shirts. Check on your strong friends. It's supposed to be the password to emotional intelligence, right? Wrong. But here's what we don't talk about. When a strong friend finally does speak up or show a glimpse of vulnerability or being down, people freeze. They stumble. They start deflecting. I mean, they might throw out a Bible verse, a self-help quote, some therapy. You're going to get through it. You're strong. You got this. Damn, that's crazy. And call that support, right? It's like they find the first 20 quote carousel on Instagram and just read from that. Thanks for the motivational speech, but I'm sort of spiraling out of control right now. But the truth is, most people aren't equipped to hold space for someone who's usually the one doing the holding. You're used to showing up, right? We're trained to push through. And when we do call, it's not for fun. It's because we're at the end. No warning, straight action. And then we get met with confusion or distance or damn, that's crazy. But then it just reinforces why we keep our shit to ourselves in the first place. And, you know, I've been that friend. I've made the call. I've opened the door. And I've watched people fumble because they didn't know what to do with my pain outside of everything I just named. And the worst part, even if you do decide to reach out, you still risk getting blamed for waiting too long. Because, oh, now it's, why didn't you say something earlier? Why didn't you call me? You know I'm always here. No. You think you're always here, but you're only available for a version of me that's functional, funny, and put together. You don't know what to do with the version that's hollowed out and hurting, right? So yeah, maybe we did sign up for this role, but a lot of us didn't choose strength. We chose survival. And in my opinion, those are two things that are not the same, but they can be directly related, because I believe that every person who is a survivor is strong, but not every strong person is a survivor, I guess. But that's a deeper, follow me. But they didn't choose strength. They chose survival. And somewhere along the way, strength just became the costume that you never really get to take off. And look, I'm not saying being strong is a bad thing. It's actually a beautiful thing to be dependable, to be the person people look to when the sky is falling, to be the calm in the chaos. It's great. That's a gift. And not everyone has it. And I'll even admit this, like, it's not fair to others when we show up strong every day and then get pissed off that that's how we're seen. When someone shows you who they are, believe them, right? So if all you show is strength, that's what people will expect. It's a mind fuck because we play into it and then feel betrayed when nobody notices we're drowning. But that's where consideration comes in, right? If you know you're not equipped to support someone authentically, then don't force it. Don't slap on fake empathy just to clear your conscience. Find your own way to be of service. Like, maybe the strong friend doesn't need a fix. Maybe they just need to exhale, to vent, to not have to translate their pain into something digestible for you. Just try to show consideration. So, I mean, here's the real challenge. Next time you want to check on your strong friend, don't just check in, stay in, lean in, and be prepared. Be prepared for the fact that their vulnerability might not look pretty, but I mean, it's still worthy of being truly seen. And for those of you who are the strong friend, you got a lot of work to do. You got a lot of work to do. I would get busy. For real. For real. Anyways, too much or too tough. Okay. So, too much or too tough, right? Because one of those is an insult and one of those is a compliment that went straight over their head. People love to throw around "you're too much" when what they really mean is, I don't know how to handle you. I'm intimidated. I can't control you. Your self-awareness makes me uncomfortable. And if we really want to be for real, too much is usually just coded language. People don't call you too much when you're acting out. They say it when you're acting in. Okay, walk with me. When you're in your bag, when you're expressive, creative, emotionally intelligent, unapologetic, and just not easily influenced, right? It happens when you're anything outside of what your environment says you're supposed to be. I mean, it happens when you got range they can't label and it makes people uncomfortable. It's a microaggression wrapped in concern. A polite way of saying, hey, can you dim yourself down so that I can feel more comfortable in this room, please? Now me? Play along. I mean, I think we all go through a phase of shrinking I used to shrink myself on purpose, lower the volume, dull the color, round out the edges so that I could blend in. And all that got me was an identity crisis, a headache, and people still talking shit. So yeah, you can tone it down. You can water it down. You can cut it in half and serve it on a paper plate. And they still call you too much. So why bother? Be too much. Because no matter how small you make yourself, people who are uncomfortable with themselves will always find a way to make you the problem. So nah, maybe you're not too much, just too tough. Cliche, but that's something I wanted to argue about today because I'm so tired of hearing all of these conversations about who's doing enough versus who's doing too much. And it's like, just do you. Damn. Too tough to be put in a box, too tough to be copied, too tough to be digested in one sitting. You got layers, you got seasoning. You're not basic, you're bold. And that's the thing about being tough. It's not for everyone's taste, but that's cool too. You're not on sale. You're not here to be repackaged for other people's palates. So if you've ever been called like too emotional, too sensitive, too deep, too loud, too ambitious, too honest, let me be clear. You're not too much. You're just not what they expected you to be. And that makes you tough to control because you're not here to be digestible. You're here to be a tastemaker. And don't ever forget it. Like, stay tough. Understand. I don't know where society has gone with the boxes that it wants to place everyone in. It just wants you to be this version of whoever this group of people say you should be on this day. And people hold so much weight over that and they beat themselves up about it. And it's just like the whole point of life is individuality. We're all living an individual experience. So why is it that we have such desire for everyone to conform or be the same? That just does not make sense to me for any reason at all. But I don't know. I'm just here to rant. I'm not here to solve world problems. But let's talk about something that would save a lot of y'all from disappointment, resentment, and embarrassment. Knowing who the fuck your friends are and what they're actually good for. Hold on. Pause. Before you start twisting that. into some manipulative, only keep people around for what they can do for me type of energy, relax, please relax. This ain't that. If you're a user or a schemer or a scammer, this ain't your episode. Turn this off and go watch, I don't know, a documentary on being a decent human. Seek therapy, seek help. But I'm talking to the people who don't realize that a lot of the heartbreak, the fallouts, and the damn, I can't believe they did me like that moments aren't always about betrayal. Sometimes you just called the wrong person for the wrong thing. My therapist told me years ago, take inventory, literally. Take inventory of all the people in your life. What are they here for? What do they bring? How do they show up? And the most important part is the purpose doesn't even have to be deep. If someone is just a good cup of coffee and vibes once a month, then that's still purpose. That's still connection. But the problem starts when you don't know what role they play. And then you start treating your brunch friend like a therapist or your party friend like a life coach. Then wondering why you're getting the results. For example, you're going through it. Life is lifing. You're sad, depressed, low-key thinking about the middle of a freeway. Who do you call? Billy. What does Billy say?
Man, fuck that shit. Let's hit the bar. I'm having a kickback tonight. What's good? Like,
be for real. I don't think taking shots of Don Julio in a crowded living room while I'm in the midst of a mental spiral is exactly a healing experience. But thank you for your service. Now you're mad at Billy. Wow, he really doesn't care. He really didn't care about me. He didn't even listen to me. But let's be honest. Billy was never that guy. You met Billy in a mutual friend group that takes trips, hosts kickbacks, and barely knows each other's middle names. Billy is a shots and stories friend, not a talk me off the ledge friend. And that's not Billy's fault. That's your misplaced expectations. Mixing up friends, associates, acquaintances, work friends, old friends, brunch friends, and best friends. Dangerous cocktail. And no, there's no lime or salt to fix it. So meeting people where they are requires one thing from you. Knowing where they are. Stop expecting your brunch friend to be your sounding board. Unless you're at brunch talking shit between bites of French toast. Stop expecting the calm, introverted friend to turn into the life of the party just because you're feeling social today. I believe in having range around me, right? I love different energies. I'm very multi-dimensional myself, as most of us are, but I'm not about to call my Don Julio friend and say, hey, let's go rock climbing and snorkeling. Because they're going to be like, okay, is there liquor? And like, probably, but that's not the point. The point is, know who your people are. Know who they're not, and stop creating beef from places that never promised you peace in the first place. Everybody ain't built to be your everything, and that's okay. It's not that deep. But what is deep is when you create all of this whirlwind of negativity, this circle of negativity, by just not understanding how to meet people where they are and understanding what people bring to the table. And if it's something that, and if that brunch friend isn't someone who aligns with what your purpose is in life, then you need to make that decision too. But I think we need to hold ourselves accountable just a little bit into how much we hold others accountable for how they show up for us. Because when someone shows you who they are, believe them, right? Right. Sleep it off before you subtweet again. A lot of us don't even realize when we've slipped into hater territory, and not because you're mean, but because you're almost like neglected, like you're tired, you're stuck, you're unfulfilled, so on and so forth. And now everything feels personal, even when it's not. People project. And they do it even more on social media, where they can hide behind a fake name, a blurry profile picture, and a comment section full of other people who would have also given up on themselves. But here's what I've learned. when you're truly taking care of yourself, when you're locked in, focused on your own growth and what you have going on, pouring into your circle and controlling what you can control, you have a lot less energy and time or desire to treat or tear other people down. It's the people who are living in fear, who are out of their element, out of alignment with their purpose, who are chronically unfulfilled. Those are the people who start hating on anything or anyone that reminds them of the life they never chased. That's why I always say I'm not taking critique from somebody who's not in the arena. If you're not in the position I'm working toward, what could you possibly teach me about how to get there? And sometimes it's deeper than like just internet drama or anything like that. Because I remember working a job where this customer came in, and she came in regularly, just mean, hateful. Nothing was ever right. She made everyone's day worse, like just by walking in, right? But something in me said, let me be the one to take care of her every time she comes in here and I'm here. And over time, that wall started to crack. And when it did, I learned that she wasn't mean. She was trapped. She'd been in a marriage for 20 years to a man who used to be her knight in shining armor. But once she had his child, she became a prisoner, verbally abused, isolated, stuck. And she's literally just holding out until the kid turns 18. Like, I knew it was real. When she had her months counted down, she knew how many months it was going to be until she could have her freedom. But when she talked about her life before him, or the life she plans to have when her kid is grown, she lit up. And then that gave me so much perspective, man, because she's doing the best she can with what she has. And unfortunately, what she has is a life she never asked for and didn't feel brave enough to escape. Now think about how many people out there who you think are rude, petty, hateful, or evil are really just exhausted, unseen, and unlived. They never had the courage to dream or to step out, or they felt like they just weren't allowed to, or they did dream and then life beat it out of them. And that's why I say, like, take care of yourself before you become the hater. Because if you don't, you will start resenting everyone who's living out loud. And then sometimes, you won't even know what you're doing. Like, you won't even know you're doing it. Like, just drink some water, stretch, log off, pray, go to therapy, whatever you got to do to tap back into yourself, because the longer you abandon you, the easier it becomes to start hating everybody else. Not really an argument, but just more so, I guess it is an argument, because I feel so passionate about it that like it almost makes you want to like shake people. Like, please go love yourself, take care of yourself, stop all this. Because especially when you realize that people are who they are because they're hurting or because they're living an unlived, unfulfilled, non-passionate life. But that's it. You survived another round of unfiltered opinions, hot takes, and possibly a little too much truth for a Tuesday. It's not even Tuesday, but listen, if anything I said had you nodding your head or side-eyeing a text thread or just realizing you've been putting too much on your brunch friend, congratulations. You're officially doing the work. But remember, you don't have to agree with everything I said, but if you're going to argue, then argue responsibly. Follow me on Instagram at It's Not That Deep, Jermain. I want to hear from y'all. And most importantly, take care of yourself. Like, actually, for real. Because I don't want to see you on the internet being messy when you could have just taken a nap and maybe drunk some water. So, I will see y'all next week. Stay petty, stay healed, and remember, it's not that deep. Unless it is.